Thank you, Marcelo, for your opening remarks. Welcome, colleagues. I'm very pleased to have you all at this conference on the reduction of food losses and waste. Let me start by a non-scientific statement. When we were children in my country, today we were running around on the 11th of November, knocking at doors, commemorating Saint Martin. You remember this man who 1,700 years ago passed away, who had shared his coat with a beggar. Cutting food losses and waste is not just sharing leftovers, but it should be about sharing of things which we need, otherwise it's not a commitment. Sharing resources is part of the task ahead of us. Marcelo, our Chancellor, has already highlighted why this Academy has a role to play in this debate. We know it's a technical issue, we know it's a business case, we know it's a policy issue, but it's also a moral issue. And we need to bring these communities together and form alliances. That's the idea of this conference. Usually, thanks are given at the end of meetings, which I think is appropriate because we want to see performance first during meetings. But I want to thank up front, especially the colleagues from the Rockefeller Foundation. Roy Steiner is chairing the team, sitting right behind me, and will address us in a moment. His colleagues, Amos Kisulu, Sarah Farley, Betty Kibara, and others made tremendous contributions. And on substance, Dirk Meyer from Iowa State and Craig Hansen from WRI and Maximo Torero from FAO have provided intellectual inputs into the agenda and into the draft statement, which will be placed on the table here in the middle of the room, probably during the coffee break. I ask you to take a look at this draft outcome statement. We don't just want to meet here, but we want to present something to the science and policy and civil society and business community around the world as an outcome. And typically, our Chancellor also shares such statements with Pope Francis. So let's work on that. It's just a 3-page statement. We don't want to have it longer. I ask you to not only read it, but to scribble in it and return your suggested changes to me. We will not electronically send it around as a draft because it makes it messy. So with that technical remark, let me not spend more time on the reason why we meet. You know it. We have thought carefully about the statement of purpose, which is in the brochure, which is in front of your seat. Let me just highlight that the science behind food waste and losses has progressed quite well. We still have quite a bit of more science needs which will come out. But fundamentally, this meeting is about actions, identifying actions, not repeating the problem unless we have really an addition to make to problem definition. We want to identify scope for action also on a time path. What needs to happen now, what are short-term gains, low-hanging fruits, and then moving forward. Completing my list of thanks, I would be remiss if I wouldn't thank especially Simonetta Ulisse, who has facilitated to bring all us here, and her colleagues. As a small secretariat of the Pontifical Academy of Science works wonders with each of these meetings. I ask you for a round of applause to all of them. I hand over to Roy, your opening remarks.
Thank you so much.